In the early 1920s was a period of unbridled optimism and prosperity. We didn't know about the crash coming in 29 yet, right? So the country is moving forward, and the streamlined look of Art Deco reflected that era. The Merchandise Mart of Chicago, 1930, was the largest structure in America prior to completion of the Pentagon. Commissioned by the Marshall Field Department Store for $32 million in 1930. They dreamed that this 4 million square foot building would become a giant wholesale market, but the reality was the Depression, the Great Economic Depression. They had to sell for only $13.5 million by 1946. Joe Kennedy picked it up. I'll tell you how Joseph Kennedy saved that building on the way back. Right now, look around you, have your cameras at the ready. We're at the beginning of Chicago, the confluence where the three branches of the river meet. We approach from the east, north branch right, south branch left. We'll see a lot of the South Branch, you know, since we're taking 3 weeks to go to New Orleans. They told you that at the ticket booth? Good, okay. Well, the birthplace of downtown Chicago really is a showplace for new architecture. It began with that curved glass, beautiful Nuveen building by Cohn Tutterson and Fox in 1983. That's contextualism. Everything relates to the river. This building could have been done yesterday. It's so contemporary. It set the bar very, very high. It said, if you're going to build around me, you better do your best, you better bring your A game. And in the last 5 years, look around you, everybody has. From the 150 North Riverside building with its unique inverted pyramid design, I'll tell you why they had to do that later, to the new home of Morton Salt, River Point, putting an arch in to say we're special, this is where the branches of the river meet. Note the arch is complemented with an inverted parabola at the top. I love it. Kids get off the boat and tell me it reminds them of a Hot Pockets frozen sandwich now. And right in front, great Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava has the red sculpture just installed very recently. Now on the right, man, they're really going to town over here. This is the Wolf Point Tower Complex. Because we took a clue from San Antonio, Texas, who was reclaiming their river in the 1980s, and got back to our roots with our own urban waterways design project in 1990, getting back to Daniel Burnham's idea the river can become a second lakefront, people want to now live downtown again. These two buildings, Wolf Point West and East, are residential. Their neighbor, Wolf Point South, will go up to 813 feet, I believe completed 2023, and it already has a name. And I know I have a few people from California on board today. Well, Wolf Point South is already going to be called Salesforce. It's being named after that company that just did the tallest building in the San Francisco Bay Area. They surpassed the Transamerica building, which used to be their tallest. Now here's a single-leaf bascule bridge, the old Carroll Avenue Bridge tied to the Chicago-Galena Union Railroad, which started in 1848. Bridge still being used in the 1990s, now a piece of urban art. I sometimes think we keep it around to scare the people living over here at Fulton House, Harry Weiss, 1981. Look at those 3-foot thick masonry walls. This 1898 warehouse was refrigerated for 70 years. And like your freezer, before Harry could punch windows for condos, he had to defrost the entire building for 3 months. And then, inspired by the Danube River in Amsterdam, Harry Weiss does 4 very unique river cottages in 1988, little townhomes with a rustic look. Someone sold number 3 2 years ago for $2.25 million. If I lived here, I would never leave. Porthole windows like a ship. Harry was an architect and a sailor who had planned on living here himself. And his friends in the 80s teased him. They said, Harry, why do you want to live on that dirty industrial Chicago River? Harry's answer, water is a magnet. It will always draw people to it. He saw the potential. I often think our architect Harry Weiss understood the psychologist Carl Jung. And we humans seem to have, let us say, a Jungian archetype in our brain, an unknown longing for the sea, the great beyond the blue, the azul. And if you don't have an ocean at home, my friends, there may come a day for you, as it came for me, when I awoke in Chicago with a smile and an epiphany, and a poem rolled from my lips as I began. Some days, a river is enough. A river is enough. A river is enough. I'll leave you with that thought. Let's take a short break. We're turning the boat around. It's getting industrial. And then I'll be back on mic when we're heading south. Hey, this is a great time to visit Felipe, the bartender. He has a Bloody Mary, an Irish coffee, a rum punch, and vodka lemonade.